realmente. Respeita, caralho. Porra.
Gostei, gostei.
The moment he lost control, a reckoning in Santos. It began where football's most human stories always begin, not under stadium lights, not in front of millions, but on a quiet Sunday training ground. May 3rd, 2026, the CT Ray Pell Training Center in Santos, Brazil. The first team had just returned from a hard-fought match against Palmeiras. A fixture Neymar Jr. had been excluded from due to the club's policy on artificial turf. So here he was, Brazil's all-time leading goalscorer, the man who broke Pellé's international record, relegated to a reserve training session alongside those who hadn't played the day before. Among those reserves was an 18-year-old forward. His name, Robson D.T. Souza Jr. Everyone calls him Robinho Jr. He is the son of the former Brazil international Robinho, a name that once commanded fear and respect across the footballing world. But this boy was different. This boy had known Neymar since he was 8 years old. This boy had once received a gift from his idol, held it in his small hands and cried. During a routine training drill, the teenager decided to take on his mentor, not with arrogance but with the fearless ambition of youth. And he beat him. Clean, skillful, the way young players dream of doing against their heroes. But this was not a dream. This was real. And Neymar did not take it lightly. Eyewitness accounts describe the shift in atmosphere. What was once a standard session became charged with tension. Neymar told the young player to slow down, to show respect. Words were exchanged. The temperature rose with every passing syllable. And then something deep inside the superstar cracked open. Subscribe to Heaven Journey for more deep documentary stories. Like if you believe in second chances. Comment, should Neymar still go to the World Cup? The incident, what happened next, would become the subject of a formal club investigation, one that sent shockwaves far beyond the borders of Brazil. Legal documents, later filed by the representatives of Robinho Jr., painted a picture that no football club ever once attached to its name. The allegations were laid out in stark, undeniable terms. Offensive insults were hurled across the training pitch. A deliberate trip was executed, one that lifted the 18-year-old off the ground and sent him crashing to the turf. Then, in full view of teammates and staff, a violent slap to the face. The sound of it echoed through the training complex. Santos FC, one of Brazil's most historic clubs, the club that gave Pell to the world, acted within hours. By Sunday evening, less than 8 hours after the incident, an official statement was released confirming an internal inquiry led by their legal department. The charges were serious enough that Robinho Jr.'s legal team filed an extrajudicial notice demanding access to all CCTV footage from the training ground. They raised the very real possibility of terminating the young player's contract on grounds of inadequate safety standards. Let that sink in. An 18-year-old boy, 8 senior appearances to his name, was considering walking away from his contract because he no longer felt safe at his workplace. The football world, from Rio to Madrid, from London to Doha, held its collective breath. Neymar Jr., the global superstar, the World Cup hopeful, the man who carries the hopes of an entire nation on his shoulders, stood accused of physically assaulting the son of his former national team colleague. But even as the legal machinery began to turn, even as the headlines began to write themselves, something else was happening away from the cameras, away from the lawyers, away from the noise. Share this video with a football fan who needs to see this story. Turn on notifications for Heaven Journey. Immediately after that Sunday session, before the Lawyers arrived. Before the headlines exploded, Neymar approached Robinho Jr. directly, face to face, man to man, and he apologized. The next morning, Monday, in front of the entire Santos squad and staff, he stood and apologized again. No excuses, no deflection. Then Robinho Jr. himself stood and offered his own apology to the group. 2 athletes, 1 dressing room, a moment of genuine accountability. But by Tuesday the story had escaped those walls. The press had it. The fans were divided. The world wanted answers. So after a Copa Sudamericana match, Neymar faced the cameras and did what few superstars ever truly do. He accepted his blame completely. He said both made mistakes. Then he spoke 8 words that cut through the noise. My mistake was slightly bigger. No deflection. No excuses. Just ownership. But the most powerful testimony came from the young man who was struck. Robinho Jr. confirmed the slap. He did not minimize it. Then he made a choice that transformed this story. He chose to forgive. He said Neymar had been his idol since childhood. The first gift came when he was 8 years old. He cried holding it. He still keeps it to this day. A slap, a childhood idol. A gift treasured for over 10 years. This was never strangers. This was a rupture between a mentor and the boy who worshipped him. Robinho Jr. withdrew his contract termination request. He committed to honoring his deal. Then he said Neymar was man enough to admit what he did. Now everything between them is fine. On Tuesday night came the visual conclusion. Neymar scored. He ran to Robinho Jr., embraced him, and gently patted the younger man's cheek. The same cheek he struck 2 days earlier. A silent message to millions. It is over. We are brothers. Yet larger questions remain. Neymar is 34, fighting for a World Cup spot. Ancelotti announces the final squad in under 2 weeks. Brazil's record goal scorer has not played for his country since 2023. A scandal was the last thing he needed. Beyond selection lies legacy. Neymar has always divided opinion, genius, and controversy intertwined. This episode fed every criticism, but his response revealed something else. Accountability without evasion. Apology without qualification. A man who refused to hide. Strip away the fame, the contracts, the eyes watching, and what remains is simple. A young man chose restoration over resentment. An aging superstar chose the harder path. Not just to win, but to make things right. Greatness is not the absence of mistakes. It is the courage to stand in the wreckage of your actions and say clearly, I was wrong. I am sorry. We can begin again. That is the true story. Not of a slap, but of what came after.